This is Sam Vaughan for Sam Sports Report. Let's get underway with college basketball on February 6, 2022. College basketball first. Kansas got their butt kicked 68-53. Iowa State defense was really good. And Jalen Wilson scored 49% of the Jayhawks 53. He scored 56, but nobody else played well for the Jayhawks. Tim Lipsey led with 9 points for the Iowa State. But in the defensive battle, as we said, Iowa State won 68-53. KU sits 2 games back. And if you want to call this a must-win for the Jayhawks in this game, otherwise they go 3 back, I would say that's fair to say. KU will play Texas tonight at 9, 36-25, and we're ahead by 1 with a minute remaining. Jabari Rice scores 14. Keon Johnson scores 16 in the loss. Kansas has the best basketball home field advantage. That's why I always have a hard time picking against KU. KU did lose once to TCU, and I don't expect them to lose again at Kansas. The Big 12 standings, Jayhawks Kansas against Texas tonight, and another Big 12 game, 20 years. Marcus Carr averages 16 for the Hawks, and Jalen Wilson averages 21. Tip time from Lawrence is at 8 o'clock. In the Pro Bowl that nobody cares about except apparently Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill, who went to the interwebs to talk trash. Nothing was worthily to post, though. The NFC got the better of them 35-33. At least finally they decided what it was, a Pro Bowl flag football game. For years it's just been trying to get that name. Trying to decide what to do on podcasts, and in case coaches get hired, that's what I do. Here's the Sam Vaughan edition of If Not Him, Then Whom? Who do we hire? We update you on the Arizona Cardinals and Indianapolis Colts. We'll start with the Colts. We'll start off with the Cardinals. It's down to 3. Vance Joseph filling the Rooney role, hopefully, for the Cardinals' sake. The Broncos, he coached the Broncos, and he was an incompetent coach. He only coached for 2 seasons, but when he did coach, he was a horrific 11-21. The Cardinals should not hire him unless they want to keep on losing. Mike Kafka played as much a role as developing Daniel Jones into a game manager, which before that he was a hurt you guy if he's on your team, throughout throwing interceptions and getting sacked a lot. Mike Kafka turned the Giants around and into the playoffs. His quarterback's coach of 2018 to 2021 and got the job this offseason. He coached Patrick Mahomes and did a great job. He made Daniels into a game manager, said he left the job from Andy Reid and he needed to prove that he could win without him. Isn't that what most coaches needed to prove to the NFL? Well, yes, that's what most coaches need to prove to the NFL, is they can win without Andy Reid, as it seems to happen. Is that why Eric Bieniemy is leaving the Chiefs? Brian Flores, it's not my style to hire a defensive coordinator, but if I had to choose a defensive coordinator, he might be my man. Maybe Dan Quinn as my head coach if I had to choose a defensive coordinator. But Dan Quinn does not look like he's going on to any place else. Regardless, Brian Flores did produce a winning season, went to the playoffs once, and led about a 500 record as a head coach, so that wouldn't be a bad hire. Now we're on to the Colts job. Reading this article, Don Martindale is for head coach for the Arizona Cardinals as the best defensive coach in the NFL. I don't know much about him since he hasn't coached at all. But since he's widely regarded as the best defensive coach, again, I said I wouldn't hire a defensive coach, but he seems okay. He could lead it to a 9-10-7 or 11-6 in the standings, but in Guardians Championship, I would say no. But the only reason is because I haven't seen him yet. Prove it to me, and I may change my opinion. It's interesting to see what the Colts will go with their fourth. Shane Steichen. This would be my opinion. Always hire an offensive guy, but I know nothing about Shane Steichen, except he led the Eagles to a Super Bowl, so he's good enough to challenge that around. I don't think it would be a bad hire. Also, head coach Raheem Morris will coach. He was 21-38. So it seems like the leaders are Mike Kafka for the Colts and Wink Martindale,
Dorian Finney-Smith,
and Spencer Dinwiddie. Meanwhile, the Nets receive pick in 2029. Not know where they're drafting. Second round pick in 2027 and a 2029 second round pick again in exchange for Irving and Markieff Morris, former Kansas Jayhawk.
Woj, how exactly did this deal come together?
Yeah, Malika, the Dallas-Brooklyn talks accelerated quickly today. And the Mavericks wanted to get, I think both sides wanted to get a deal done. I think Dallas, listen, they may have put more in terms of draft compensation, draft pick compensation in the deal than they might have. But they wanted to get this thing done. They didn't want to lose Kyrie Irving elsewhere in the league. And also for Brooklyn, they were ready to be done with this Kyrie Irving situation. They got back what they hoped they would, which was a point guard, a wing player that they can plug into their lineup right now. They had Spencer Dinwiddie before. They're familiar with him. Dorian Finney-Smith, a very good wing player in this league. And now for Brooklyn, they want to get back to work. They've got the 3 draft picks they got in this trade. They have a future Philadelphia first-round pick, and they'll be aggressive with those picks to go out between now and Thursday's trade deadline to try to get more help around Kevin Durant, who, listen, quite honestly, this is an organization that wants Kevin Durant to stay committed, to stay the course with this reshaping of the roster, and they're going to continue between now and Thursday to do that.